Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How
Good
are you
morning.
today?
Oh, I can literally say I haven't seen you all week because we've been actually doing it old school and talking on the phone rather than video chatting.
OMG. We carry the phone with us now everywhere on video. Once we discovered that that's a thing, it's and we're beyond the point now where it's like, oh, let's find a stand. We don't care. You know, it's like
I'm laying on my side.
the only place where we might have boundaries is the bathroom.
A little bit. We just meet. Yeah, it's just the restroom, huh?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like facing the wall.
Yeah.
There's still audio.
There's still audio. Like no one knows what's going on.
But we do preface well, it's not like I haven't been to your house, so right. I know when you start walking and you go down the hallway, I know where you go, and then you're telling me, okay,
that's awful.
Oh my god!
My favorite no boundaries. When Christel's getting ready for work, and it's hilarious, and she's literally got me like this, and she's like, "Okay, keys, okay, tote bag." You know, and God forbid we just hang up. God forbid.
No, we're doing everything we tell our kids not to do.
Oh my gosh, right?
Speaking of which,
yes.
Before we, well, let's just do that. Let's just do a recap of last week. Okay. And then we'll give some, we'll do our thank yous to the people that have been written in, and then we'll start into the new topic.
I love it. All right.
Okay.
So a recap from last week was we talked about leaving the nest and preparing our children to leave the nest, but really did we necessarily prepare ourselves, right? And that was part one. And then in part two, we talked about how to make that transition from dictator parent to spectator parent. And because we want to be effective, right? And still be in their lives and not shut out and all of these things. So what worked for them when they were younger certainly doesn't work today. It's not my way or the highway anymore. As long as you live in my house, young man. I know.
My house, my rules.
Yeah. My house, my rules. Because they don't live here anymore. So, but it doesn't mean that they're any smarter than they were when they left him, But anyway,
they're just not seasoned or experienced yet. They're going to get there.
They will. So how are you effective that way? How are you still being in their lives, still trying to, help them steer the ship, right? Instead of you steering it for them. So we had this epiphany because my son is finishing up college this semester, and it was a bit dramatic the last couple weeks because he had COVID. There was a bunch of stuff that happened, at the beginning of the year, and now here we are at the end of the year, and he's got some roommate problems and all this stuff. And I didn't really know what to do because he was really shutting me out and getting angry with me when I was just trying to help. So, Christel had said that what I really need to do is go in and because my epiphany was I found out that when they go through something, I automatically assume that I didn't teach them. I didn't do enough for them. And so I want to fix it.
I do the same. Okay.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to fix it. And then what I do is I interrogate them without the thought of being interrogated, right? I don't think that I have them in, Gitmo, but they take it as
Gitmo. I know that. You know what? I like that. I'm going to use that. Like, okay, Gitmo mode.
I'm in Gitmo, and they're being waterboarded. And all I'm trying to do.
I'm just trying to show my love and help them.
Can't you see how much I love you? Tell me now. So,
Mom to the rescue.
Here I come. So, and I couldn't understand why that wasn't being received. So, I can't figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. No.
I guess we really need to set aside a fund for our kids' therapy.
Oh, I already said that. Like when they come at me with that, I'm like, well, there's a therapist for that, and you're still on my insurance policy, and I will pay the copay. Yeah, because I did my best,
I know.
So anyway,
My best, Heather. I did my best.
I did my best, and I used to tell my mom, because like my mother, you know how your parents are, they're always like trying to fix you as well still.
Mm-hmm.
So when the kids were really little, I would be like, doing stuff, whatever. And my mom would be like, you don't want to do that. That's not, but she did it in a way that is similar to what I'm doing to my kids, which made me feel small and inferior. And like I had to fight back, and but my fight back was a really good argument. I said, Mom, it could be a lot worse. I could be, on crack. And I said that a couple of times. And just to be a snot rag, because that's my mother, why wouldn't I? And I don't know why my kids talk to me like this, but anyway, so my mom finally one day said, that's not a really great benchmark for you to
the bar's down here.
but anyway, it's not what I came to tell you. So okay. I went to his home, his residence, last week, and I didn't go in there guns blazing like I wanted to. I went in there on the down low, chillaxing, relaxing. And he opened up to me about what was really going on and what was really happening. And I said to him, why didn't you just say that last week? And his response was, because, Mom, I wanted to give it a couple weeks and handle it myself before I got you involved. So that, yes, he said, and I did that, and still you came at me. And right. That was what we do. Right? That was huge. He wasn't looking for help. He was really, I think, looking for an acknowledgement of, hey, you did that really well. And yes,
you do that?
Yeah. Well, I did then, because I figured it out. I had my moment because we
worked. And then timely though, isn't that timely? That we had
so
that
timely,
talk?
so timely. And then you had said something that really stuck with me, and that's focus on his accomplishments. When you go into that dark place at night, when you have them, in the ditch, dead, face down.
Focus on the accomplishments.
Look at everything they've done. Look what they've done in their lives.
He knows how to grocery shop. He knows how to brush his teeth.
So
sorry, Zach. I love you.
Yes. And the pop-up on my phone's always like dead man floating in found river. And I'm always, of course, that's him. So now I go to the accomplishments. So when we were going through, so when I was talking to him and he was telling me about everything he's going through with the last really 3 weeks before he graduates college and everything else, I went back to that. I was like, think of everything you've accomplished up to this point. The fact that just getting through this situation we've gotten through the last 2 years, where you're online, you're not, you're there, you're here, there's just been a million things, and still you stayed the course. And that's just now, never mind, the scholarships and the grades and and
he's been in every single production ever that has been like in front of him.
Yeah, he really has. And he's really right. He's risen up, he's working, he's doing all these things. And then he was really sick at the beginning of the semester. And
sorry,
no, I know, I do the same thing. Mine went off twice. He's been really busy at the beginning of the semester. He was ill. He had to come back from all of that. And so, the two of us, I was reciting that. And not only was I becoming more reassured, he was too. He's like, you're right. I was like, you've got this. So thank you, Christel.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. I feel like he's my son too, in a way.
Yes. Well, you're always, and I have to laugh because, you're like the steady Eddie on that one. I'll call and be like, oh,
and I'm like, okay,
let's take
it down a notch. Let's take a deep breath. But I think too is because I'm like you. I like no one's. Well, my kids see it how much I am like a spaz. when it comes to them. So you are the cool aunt to my kids, and I'm hopefully the cool aunt to your kids.
Yes.
So
I'm getting real sick of hearing things like, well, what would Christel say?
Remember when you were picking out the dress for your brother's wedding, and Sid gets on the phone and she's all like, okay.
Yeah.
She's like messaging me, and then we kind of tag team it.
I just bought not too long ago. I bought like,
yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, but I think that sometimes you need those friendships to, not necessarily family, but you need those friendships to help bring an objective, not objective, because I'm going to always be on your side, but to just kind of mediate. You know, when you have that person or a circle of trust, to come in and do that. He's going to be really honest in a way that helps you see yourself in a gentle light, because we're so hard on ourselves.
We are, and the stakes are so high, right? So everything, you know, when you look at someone else's kid do something normal, it's like, well, that's just normal. But if it happens to your kid, it's like, oh my God, you know, we failed, and they're going to be criminals and, you know, in jail and, you know, serial killers. I mean, I'm not saying that's how, I'm not saying that's how I feel. But in general, I would say that's probably the truth, because my kid, yes, I'm usually, and something you would say to me, I'm like, he's dead in the ditch, face down. And you're like, has he ever been face down in the ditch before? There's always a first time.
Right. How many times does it take to get pregnant? Well, apparently.
Exactly.
Right. Let me not answer that one.
Exactly.
Hey, can I say though, real quick, I know this is totally off subject, and I'm like, squirrel, your accessories are so on point right now. What is going on with you lately? You are just like, this whole cleaning out of the closet thing has just been so, like, you've taken it and ran with it. Because right now you've got that whole, like, I don't want to say Jezebel vibe, but I always think Esmeralda, like the whole, you've got that totally, or Carmen Miranda, that whole
thing, my blingy. So, okay, let me tell you, I am in exercise clothes 24/7, right? Like I get up in the morning, I'm clean for about 6 hours, maybe 8. I go to, right before I go to bed, I drag this dead body into the shower and scrub from head to toe and get into my bed, and I'm so happy. But as soon as I get out of bed, back at it, getting filthed up. So on the weekends, it's a treat for me to be able to be clean all day and wear my really cool stuff. And so I got to share. So first of all, I want to say this ring was my grandma's. It's like this really cool.
I love that. She had a statement ring back then. Oh my God.
My grandma.
Yes.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah, she had a statement ring back then. She's so slick. And then this ring, I have to tell you. So this ring, can you see? Is that not adorable? Okay. So check out the back of it, because my fingers on every given day could be one size, could be another size. But this is near and dear to me, because this is a friend of mine who has her own business, right? Woman-owned business. Binge on Bling. It's called Binge on Bling. Lorraine Benuelos, but I want to make sure, because, you know, I always remember her from, but I want to just say, let me look. Just so happens, I happen to have her card somewhere here, because I don't put anything away. So everything is,
you know, where your filing system is on your desk. You know,
that's right. That's right. And it's here, it's in piles. But yeah, Lorraine Benuelos. So I just want you to know, $5. So that's it. I'm happy to wear that, and look how cute it is, and I can stick it anywhere.
Oh, nice.
That's from my grandma.
Yeah, you have really been stepping it up on weekends ever since that whole cleaning out the closet epiphany that you shared with us. You've just been, and I see you like all the time, like on video chats, and No, you've been like, there's just
Thank
been
you.
like this real confidence you've been exuding lately. I
Thank
know.
you. And everything's cheap. You know how I am. Cheap, cheap, cheap. $5. Well, this is grandma and it means a lot. This is grandma. It means a lot. And then this one's like Trades of Hope. So that's a whole other thing. The ladies that make this, all the proceeds go to helping them.
See, and that's what's so fun. And then they all kind of work together too. But what I'm seeing though is like this girliness come back out. It's a girl I knew in college, and like the confidence thing. Because I just like when you think back to last year, even last my studio, you were kind of like you were just coming out of it, like starting to like try different things.
Right.
But now you are like totally in your own skin.
Unapologetically in every way, which has taken a long time to get here for all of us. And, and I always like to talk about how when we would get together and we would tell our, stories, and it would be, oh, Heather, remember when you did this? Oh, Christel, remember when you did this? And I would sit there and go, yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, me too. Cause some of it, I'm like, I really
did I?
But I had this, I know.
Out of my head.
Yeah. Yeah. I had this whole takeaway though at one point where I was like, who's that lady? Who's that girl? And not that we want to be 20 again. That's not the issue. But the issue is that fierce spirit, that strong fighter person that was not afraid to take chances, was not afraid, right? Was afraid to do other things like being myself and express myself probably. But even then, I think I was too stupid to know that anybody was really watching.
I don't know if it was more not stupid to know how to express yourself. I think you hadn't nailed down your style yet. And I think cleaning out your closet did that for you. The styling service, cleaning out the perceptions of other people really helped you zero in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, we have a delay. We're having overlap, which brings us really into the next subject, which is the episode that we're here. But before we get into that, we do want to thank everybody, right, for all of their comments and their viewers. Because we've been, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You've been spot on with all these messages, just the messages that both of you and I have been getting. I think one of the things that's helped me was getting out of my own head and letting myself be coming out of my head and not letting the worry and fear of what will people think of me, and just letting myself be open and vulnerable, not like a bleeding open wound, but just being, was it honest or just open about what's going on with me, and what's going on with you. There's this, I don't want, it sounds so cliche, cleansing almost, you know what I mean, where you just kind of shed away all those scars and open wounds. They're just all of a sudden they're not there anymore, and you were like, God, why did I stress over something so minuscule, and that we're finding out is common, that other women are going through it. So I think when you guys message us and share some of your stories and just give us a little feedback, hey, I enjoyed that, it really makes me feel that I'm not isolated or alone. That normal as normal can be, for me, but that is, a lot of stuff is relatable, and it's kind of it's kind of interesting that why do we have all these? Why are we all feeling this way?
Well, that's a whole topic because that's our
Mm-hmm.
generation. That's our
Mm-hmm.
generation. And which is
Yeah.
why,
Okay.
which is why we wanted to be doing this, right?
Uh-huh.
Because so many of us are in the same position because we really are cross culturally. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and I can go into that a little bit more. I really just thought it was an American thing, but it's not.
Mm-mm.
Our generation across the globe
Mm-hmm.
are, the sandwich generation. We're very, you know, we've been taught not to fail. We've been taught all of these things. So we're coming at it from the same. Is that you? Oh, that's a plane.
Yeah, it's a plane
Okay.
flying over.
The same time as some crazy text. I'm like, what? So, but it means a lot for us to hear from you, not only because we're relevant, right? Because we're not just talking to ourselves, but because we uh, we want to. We want to be open the channels of communication. We want to bridge the gap with
Mm-hmm.
everybody, right? And on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, we want to hear about subjects that you want to hear about. We want to talk about things that you want to talk about because we're all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we really need each other. We
Mm-hmm.
needed each other a long time ago, but we were just too busy, which is a whole other aspect of
Mm-hmm.
this, right? So thank you to everybody. If you like what you see, okay, this is funny because I have no friggin' idea what I'm talking about, but bear with me.
It's us trying to explain the internet to us.
Yes. Okay. If you like what you see, why don't you tell us what you need to click? Okay. So I'm pretty sure there's a
Yes.
like button. Is there a like button or is it a
It's a little,
subscribe?
just like on Facebook. There's a little thumbs up or a thumbs down. We want you to hit the thumbs up.
The thumbs up.
And we want you to hit the subscribe button.
Oh, right. You have to hit the subscribe button. What else? Oh, the bell.
There's a bell.
There's a bell. And you gotta hit it. Okay. Look for the bell. Look for the bell.
I'm gonna be like this up to my screen.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, that's me too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bell. Where's the bell? And that's like, and when I the one thing that freaks me out all the time is I know what it is now. The gear. Mm-hmm. There's a gear. That's your toolbox.
I called it the flower.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a flower. And I'll tell you how I know it's not a flower, because computers were basically in the beginning of time created by men, and men are never going to make anything with a flower or pretty. It's going to be hard drive, RAM, bulge, and gears.
I don't think there's bulge in computers.
There's a bulge. I know there is, because years ago when I was working, I had a problem with my computer, and I called down to tech, who, by the way, hated me. It was like, I swear to God, my number came up and it was like, everybody would be like, who's going to take it now?
Yeah. You can hear the audible groan.
Yeah. Before they pick up.
5 buildings away.
Yes. And I had to I had to go in behind the computer and look for the bulge. I'll never forget it as long as I live, because I did say something to that man.
That was his description, though. That's not technically a computer term.
I don't know if it is or it isn't. He told me to look for the bulge, and I was just like,
see, that was a guy giving a description. That isn't yeah.
Okay.
And he probably had a thing for you. Look for the bulge. Heather, again, you missing total signals when men hit on you. It's almost like you dodge them.
What bulge? What are you talking
about? The bulge.
So wait, that reminds me, this happened a long time ago. So before children, BC, before children. So I was dating a person that was a manager. He was a general manager for cars. Okay. And so this was very handy for me, right? Because I'm not very car savvy. So, and he would be like, it's time to bring it. Like, he just handled everything. And of course I bought all my cars off of him. So anyway, I'm driving in my new car, And as I'm driving, like it's just one truck driver after another honking at me while I'm on the highway. So naturally, I assume there's something wrong with the car. So every time a truck driver honks, I'm almost crashing, trying to find, is my light on? Do I have a rear tail light out? Is my indicator light blinking? Why are they honking at me? Is my tire flat? Is there gas shooting out the back end, right? So this goes on for a couple of days so I call him and go, there's something wrong with the car. Take it in. So he brings the car in and he calls me, said, we've hooked it up to everything. There's nothing wrong with the car. I'm like, I know there's something, because you know how it is at the shop. No, it's not doing that. Meanwhile,
you're making it up.
Yeah, you're making it up. It's like PMS. It's not for real. So anyway, I'm like, I am telling you, we get into this big fight. Finally, he like leans into the phone. I can tell because he's like, he goes, did you ever think that the truck drivers are honking at you and not the car? And I just had this moment and I was like, oh, well, no, actually, I never.
Okay. I'm going to bring up an incident before we get, one last, thing. Remember, so when Heather and I met, we were working at a restaurant together. And then we found out we were going to school, same school. And then we found out that our apartments were directly across from each other. They were behind each other. So there was this little alley splitting up in between our apartments. So it was literally like just walking, 40 feet to each other's
literally, doors. Literally. God forbid we should get dressed.
Okay. But remember, I remember the story. I wasn't there, but you were in your, I don't know, like 90 or something like that. And you were drinking your coffee, and the next door neighbor was staring at you. And do you remember this?
I don't. Tell me.
So you were like totally annoyed and like staring at you, and you thought it was because you and unattractive because you woke up first thing in your morning hair. His mouth was open and his jaw was dropped because you looked sexy. You don't remember this? And Heather, Joanne told me this story. And you were just like, God, you know what I mean? The nerve of some people. I just woke up. And he was just like, oh my God, I have the hottest neighbor. And you were just like, come on, dude.
Give me a break.
You don't wake up like this. And he was just like,
oh my God.
You don't remember this?
I don't, but I believe that because that is so me. I would never have thought that he would be, looking at me in that kind of a manner. I would naturally assume that he was grossed out and showing his disgust.
Yeah, you thought he was the way I looked, and he wasn't. He was like he had to pick his jaw off the floor.
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember that. But I'll tell you, in the same apartment building, I was out there again, grubby and disgusting on the street with these like biker shorts from the 80s. So how good were they? And I'm in my car, cleaning out my car with my big butt in the air. And, really spread eagle, butt in the air, trying to get, because, I don't really care at that point. I'm trying to get what I want to get and da-da-da-da-da. All of a sudden, I hear something. Somebody goes, oh, hi there, or something. And I pulling myself out of the car to look up, and it's a guy from Parker's. Mm-hmm. And he says something like, I knew it was you, and then kept walking or whatever. And again, I took it as, oh God, my ugly, my ugly butt. How does he know it was me? I keep my butt covered at work. Mm-hmm. How would he know that that's my butt? You know what I mean? I keep it so covered. Why would he know that?
It's so sky. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah. I thought I was hiding my butt. How did they know that? All right. We did not come here to talk about my butt. I'm done.
This whole departure, we can never.
I'm done talking about my butt. Okay. We came here to talk about expanding our social circle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did. And this was this week, wasn't it? God,
Yeah.
I guess we just generally base our conversations on what's going on during the week with us, pretty much.
Yeah. Right.
So the reason why we're having this, we decided on this topic was because you had a girl date.
Yes, I did. So, okay. I was really excited about this because just to preface where we're coming from on this, we've spent, honest to God, like think about why you make friends and how you've made most of your friends. You've made most of your friends because of geographics, right? Like geography, really. So you went to school with them, you lived in the neighborhood with them, you work with them, then maybe you have kids and you are now surrounded by other moms of kids in the same, age, or school or sports or whatever it is. This is how we make our friends, right? So
right. They're more based on time and convenience in your life.
Right. It's very passive. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not, because I am a firm believer that, we in life, we seek out who we're meant to find. Okay. So I'm not putting that down. There's nothing wrong with it. But what if we decided to reach out and being purposeful about making friends, meaning that we are looking at people with maybe similar interests, similar, right? Things like that. Okay. And we're in a unique position because we're not just bound to geography, right? We are able to reach out and meet all these neat people. So I had the privilege of working with this lady who remotely, because I get to work remote, and she's just this amazing being. Okay, she's just an amazing person the whole way around, which of course you get to know as you're working with someone. And literally, she asked me out to dinner. Her last session was yesterday, and she asked me out to dinner, and I was like, absolutely. Well, lunch, breakfast, who knows? By the time I get there, it was dinner. You know what I'm saying? So
there's the scheduled time, and then there's Heather time.
There's Heather time.
And you know what, though? I'm in that category too, so I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah. Heather time. So anyway, we went to dinner. It ended up being dinner and having coffee and everything. And it was so wonderful because this is somebody from another country who is here on business and work and all these other things, right? And to find out, and we're the same age, and our children are the same age, and to find out how much we have in common, right?
Because I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Right. Like, and I mean, she's on the other side of the world. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me real quick. That is just so neat because it just shows us humanity. You know what I mean? That our world is so much smaller, and there's so much more in common than we really think. And when you get to travel and when you open your heart to just like different cultures and different, just different cultures and different, what's the word I'm trying to think here?
Values,
right? That even like, reaching across even political differences, you will still find out that you have so much more in common. But go ahead.
But no, you're absolutely right. We have so much more. And both of us were kind of sitting there shocked. I felt a little embarrassed because, it's not like I just go out. I mean, this is new, right? Making friends purposefully, where I was kind of interviewing her because in our relationship now, I'm doing all the talking, because I'm telling her what to do. And then we kind of like talk in between. But I felt like I just kept asking her so many questions. And the two of us were even floored about how parallel our lives are in terms of our thoughts, the way we raise our kids. I mean, we're coming from two different religious backgrounds here, right? We're coming from two different cultural backgrounds. We're coming from different political backgrounds because of the way their country is and the way they do things. And we American girls just think we're all, that this is how we are. I mean, because I see the difference even from East Coast, West Coast, but down in the nitty gritty, we're the same. And then I'm able to get a perspective of what it's like for somebody to go through what she's gone through, with wars and different things, right, that are happening.
I couldn't even imagine.
Right? And to get her perspective on that instead of something that we're just kind of fed. Let's be honest. And I'm not making a political, please spare me. I'm just saying that, we don't have access to what the people are going through and feeling, right, in that situation. And at the end of the day, we're just two moms raising kids, working, finding balance, and to listen to her talk about how much of our generation we have in common about how we raise kids. So like everything, Christel, that you and I talked about last week, she goes through as well.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good.
Yes. Okay. So that was my experience. It's really positive. I'm totally stoked about it. And so we were like, well, how do we do that? Well, how do we do it? We got to start by being a little more vulnerable than we like.
Right.
Okay. But we're not 17 and 20 anymore trying to break a clique. We're not, it's not like that. We're not, wearing braces and God knows what. And there is no social clique anymore. There's no barrier in that way. Right.
Yeah. And I've noticed that too. And I think, isn't that funny though, that you were saying like cliques, because there were cliques in the kid, like the mom cliques. Those were, I was always the outsider with that.
I was too. Yeah.
I just, I mean, they weren't mean. They didn't have anything in common. I think there were too many, no mom likes to be judged. So I think there was that, that hard shell. And like what you're saying now is letting yourself being vulnerable, being more transparent with your flaws, and not even thinking that they're flaws anymore, just more so things that hinder you. They're not even, things that you thought hinder you are now like the common denominator.
Yes. Yeah. They make you unique.
So it's not necessarily style and fashion or body types now. It's just really interested in what people have to say. And I think we're in a unique age right now where we can do that and nurture friendships like that. Like you said, seeking out what really interests us. And we're not saying replace friends, because there's always that history that you have with certain people that they're like your family or your comfort. But that doesn't, you can't expand your social circle.
Right. And at the end of the day, you're going to be brought into someone else's social circle, and you could bring some of your friends into that social circle. Right. But we definitely are. And I'd like to say, I've heard people say this, before us, before we came into this position, my mom would say, oh, it's so much better when I'm older now because I can make friends or be myself, because there isn't all that sex involved with men and this competition for men and all that crap. I don't believe that's where we are at all. I know that's a generation thing though. That's a generation thing. I don't believe that at all. That's not. Yeah, I know. But that's,
I guess I'm trying to think back. Well, you and I never had the same type in mind anyway, so that was never an issue.
No. I don't ever remember being competitive like that. Me personally, I don't remember being competitive that way. I always felt like, look, if he's not into me, that's his loss.
See, and I was different. I'd be like, wait, like, doesn't he like me? What? It's because I'm different, huh? Right.
Yeah. Well, now wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I really liked
Mm-hmm.
that weren't into me, that was a bummer. And yes, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be loved? Well, that's probably why. Um,
That right there is why.
That's probably it.
That's
But
whole.
yeah, the whole thing. I know why. It's my big butt, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He saw me in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I look terrible. He's so superficial. So but for us though, that's not the issue, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for us, so that might have been what was going on with my mom's generation, that kind of a thing. But but it's the same freedom. It's the same, allowing to be yourself. But I think it has more to do with the fact of our being comfortable in our own skin and
Yes.
knowing, right, that who you are attracts people who you should be with. So, and there isn't any more worrying about, am I going to fit in? And you don't care. You don't care anymore.
Well,
It's
I
just
think
not.
too, you just brought up a good point is the more you're being comfortable with yourself, finding out more so what's fueling you, you're finding like-minded, you're seeking out people, like-minded souls.
Right.
There's also the time constraints aren't
Right.
as rigorous anymore, because it's like, okay, I have no time to nurture friendships right now. I am already running off coffee and 4 hours of sleep, like last night. So, how in the world am I supposed to have that much energy? And plus, you're just channeling out all this energy towards your family at that point because they need you.
Right.
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 So, all the
Right.
nurturing, all the support, everything is going towards that. Not necessarily healthy. We know this now. But I feel like what, like you were saying, once we were more comfortable in figuring out um, ourselves, we are able to do that. Seek minded, like minded people.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew where you were going with it though.
But yeah, I feel like I've had time to do, and like you were saying, it's no longer what's in front of us or what's convenient anymore. And proven that during the pandemic, right? Um, and with our midlife group, look at how much uh, our social circles have expanded just alone in that group, and the way
Yeah.
women interact on some of the posts, especially when we do some heart heart to heart talks or topics on there when we cover that,
Yeah.
and you'll find like women slowly sharing and opening up, and people that I know have never met, and being able to bond like that. I think that alone is where we like feel like our world again is small. The miles aren't so great,
Yeah.
or the distance isn't so great.
Right. Absolutely. And isn't that what it's all about, really? But you bring up a good point, and that's being busy. Whether you have a family or you're working all of the time, because that's a thing too. And making friends at work, that's okay. But a lot of times, do we make friends? Are they really your friends at work?
Right.
Not to say, and
do
I
you
know
talk to them? Do you talk to them when you're
yes.
not at work, on weekends?
Yes. And again, you may be around a whole office, and I have friends from work like that, right? We are, buds, and we can talk outside of work. And it's lasted through the years. But again, you have to be very cognizant, I think, especially at our age, to try and cultivate things. So we talked about, so what does that mean? How do you do that? Right. We say you got to be vulnerable. We've spent 2 decades really at our age closing the gap. And at some point we have purposefully, if not subconsciously, let's just say, it made that circle so small because we haven't had the time, we haven't had the energy, whatever it is. So now we need to reemerge and we need to open. How do you do it? That's always the thing. It's like these crazy dating sites. Oh my, and I mean, that's a whole other thing. I think I've talked about this before. That's some craziness. So how do you do it? Well, if you're, for me, I don't mind Zoom. I don't mind Zoom. I don't mind the social networking, online, but you got to look for groups, people that things that interest you, right? Some people want to be in person, especially people that feel so isolated right now. My aunt just joined the gym over there because she needs to find people. And again, it's like-minded, and she needs to be with them. She's going to join a bowling league. So you're not into, I know, right? It's not great. So you're not into sports. What are you into? Are you into, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Plants.
Yes. There's a million things out there that you're into, and you'd be surprised.
Hiking,
Cooking. Absolutely. There's so much out there that we don't know because we keep ourselves so closed up. And so what if they don't like you? You don't like everybody. That was my
not everyone is the same thing. Not everyone's going to connect. But I do know that the online groups have helped me. I mean, just our group alone. Like I would never have met Paula and Vicky and your girls from Built without that group.
Yes, and vice versa.
And then flying out to Pennsylvania and meeting them in person, it was like it was seamless. It was was like we had such a good time at your Built party. I was just like, looks like we had been friends for a really long time.
Yes. And the same is true when I flew out to California for the midlife group, because most of those girls were, all of them were your friends, right? And
the same thing. I had never even met either. And
I know.
And that was what was so great. That whole get together was freaking hilarious. I mean, they were a blast. And I was just like, this is freaking amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just girls just like having that shedding that I want to say insecurity.
It is insecurity.
And the apprehensions about to a social setting and worrying if they're going to be liked or not. And then realizing once we got there, what were we nervous about? What were we worried about?
Right. And we've also been in a situation too where everybody's kind of warning you about being taken advantage of, right? Like you don't want to let anybody in. They could be a scammer, they could be a con artist, they could be, all of these things. And the truth is exactly.
Don't give your personal information out, like your bank accounts and passwords.
Yeah. And I feel so part of that again is insecure, right? Because you don't know how to protect yourself. And the other part of that, now there is a power and empowerment that we have, that we kind of know things like that. And you're following your intuition a little bit. We're not, we've lived enough life lessons that, if someone says, I hope, right. I'd really like to meet. Let's meet. How about you meet me outside of the dumpster? Have you seen the dump about, 6 miles outside of the city?
Sure. Okay.
Why don't you park your car?
I bring all my personal documents too? Like my.
Yeah. Why don't we meet behind the 7-Eleven and you can leave your car there and, we can go together. Okay. So, we're not there, but also, again, not to take that stuff lightly, because it is for real. Honestly, there are more good people statistically. You hear about the bad because that's what makes the news, right? Everything is a cautionary tale. No one's going to tell you how great life is.
But there's also, there's also the internet to work for you as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyone that came into I'm sorry, kids, But anyone that came into my kid's life, I did a deep dive. Did searches, and just, you know what I mean, just to make sure that they were kind of normal, or
Yeah.
like I got a sense of who they were before,
Right.
like, okay, you're going to spend the night at their house, or you're going to go on a camping trip with their family. Not that that happened, but
Right.
you just got, who are my kids hanging out with? But it's the same.
Right.
Do the same thing for you, honestly.
Right. Of course. Of
Mhm.
course. I mean, we're not recommending you guys that we all go out and, stand on the streets and make new friends.
With a sign.
Be my
I'm
friend.
lonely.
I'm lonely. We're not saying
And like you said too, is I'm lucky in the same sense as you with the work that I do, that I get to
right.
meet women, and women that come to you when they work with you, bare their souls. Women that come to
Yes.
my studio,
Yes.
for literally bare their souls and um, share their vulnerabilities because of the type of photography that I'm doing with them.
Exactly.
And I'm lucky and I'm grateful because I've been able to get outside of my head and really connect with these women, and also learn how to get past what will they think of me, to really listening and connecting with these women, and they've all become really good friends. So
Right.
And shedding that stigma, as well as, always be super professional, super professional, super professional. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's so 80s and 90s corporate that it's ridiculous.
And aren't we getting out of that?
Hmm. Honestly, we are.
We are.
And that's what we were talking about, like wardrobe. Remember how it was corporate suit, blah blah blah, and now we can be a little bit more expressive and show our strength, show our vulnerability, show our power and leadership, without it being locked into a certain look and feel.
Yeah. The female man,
Mm-hmm.
which again, there's nothing, we're not picking on, it sounds like we are, but we're not, I promise you. I love suits. I love tuxedos. I'd much rather wear pants than a dress. Okay. But I also like to wear a dress when I want to. I want to wear heels if I want to. I want to wear makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I want to wear clothes. You know what I mean? Whatever. I want to do whatever I want to do. I don't in general, I don't like somebody pigeonholing me into something that isn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's part of who I am. And men are different, and they're allowed to be. This isn't picking on men. Just don't make us be you if we don't want
Right.
to.
And I don't think we make men be women?
No, God, no. Do you know that if I ever I tried, so just so we're all on the same page here. I tried when my husband and I met. Hello. When my husband and I met,
Pretty broad.
I know you like that.
I'd show you mine, but
yeah, it's all right.
Apparently I'm all bundled up here.
There we go. So, when my husband and I first got married, actually, well, when we were dating, of course, he showed up looking like the bee's knees. And then we got married.
Term? You come up with these terms, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. What is bee's knees?
Bee's knees. The bee's knees. I think that's like from like 1950 or something, where it just means that you're like, I don't know. It's so dumb, but it means good. It's good. The bee's knees is good. Okay. It's
back
dumb. It's a good thing.
Okay. All right.
Bees knees. They're
I'm
good.
always imagining little bees with knees right now.
Yes. It's good. It's a good thing, the bees knees. Okay. All right. So and then we married, and then all of a sudden all the ugly t-shirts from the 80s hair bands. Okay. The jeans that look like Frankenstein, because we just keep mending them, because my husband's way better at darning socks than I ever will be, right? Mm-hmm. And then the white tennis shoes, of course. And so we were married, not very long, because my grandfather was coming to the house and having coffee, and he's like, so how's married life treating you? I was like, well, I threw out all of his underpants the other day. I said, and he walked in the door as if he goes, he knew before he even walked in the house that you threw away his underwear, because we know. And it's like true. It's like he walked in the door and shut the door and he was like, something's not right. And then he found his underwear in the, because they were terrible. Okay. They were tighty whities. I wanted him in boxers. And so anyway, I had this for him. Yes, I did. And then when we went out, anyway, let's just say the tighty whities came out of the trash and the boxers were nixed. The other thing was the clothing and all that stuff. So, but anytime I would say to him, hey, why don't you change that shirt? Hey, have you thought about wearing this? Da, 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 da. Or I bought you this. It was like, don't control me. Don't control me. Don't tell me what I can and cannot wear. And he's right. Imagine if he told me. Mm-hmm. So the same is true in business or anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's different if you got to wear a uniform. That's different, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, yeah, all of a sudden you're being told you got to wear your hair short, you got to wear bland makeup or whatever it is. Wear makeup at all. A lot of women don't even want to wear makeup, and they shouldn't have to. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why. How did we get on that topic? Where the hell are we? What are we saying? Why are we here?
I think we were just saying it was just more so of the I don't even know. I was all
bullshit. Bullshit.
Prevagen.
Prevagen, help me. Please.
No,
okay. No, we were talking
something with where it'll come to me in a second. I think we were just trying to say that it wasn't based on how we looked and dressed, right?
Right. Yeah, okay. That was it.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, no, we're free to be us. And mm-hmm. we were always free to be us, by the way. Mm-hmm. We just didn't have the security, right? We were very mm-hmm. insecure. And it wasn't our fault. It is what it is. It's the growth. Mm-hmm. But now we're here, we're on the other side, and it's okay to be expressive and to be ourselves. Mm-hmm. And you don't like everybody. That's what I know at some point we said.
Oh, that's what it was. We don't like everybody.
That's what it was. You don't like everybody. Why does everybody have to like you? And that mm-hmm. is something I grew up hearing my whole life. My grandmother would say that to me constantly because mm-hmm. it really upset me when people didn't like me, which I look back on it now. What a waste of energy.
Mm-hmm. And I grew up trying to make sure everyone liked me. And the reason was because I remember that day coming when my parents, I think I shared this, that my parents, within 6 years of coming to the United States, my parents moved us were able to buy a home in an affluent neighborhood. But I remember that day walking into, and I think it was first or second grade. No, first grade. I walked into class and they're introducing me. A, I'm the only minority kid in there. And B, I remember the kids saying, look at her clothes. No. I distinctly remember that. And so growing, my parents worked. I didn't have a stay-at-home mom who did laundry. I had to do it.
Right.
So, sometimes my clothes, I didn't realize my clothes were ill-matched or dirty. I remember someone saying, oh, her shirt's dirty. I just was wearing what was available. We were the kids when we first came to the United States, where the church would be drop off, do a clothing drive or a food drive for a family. We mm-hmm. we were that family that that the little Girl Scouts or the little church group would come in and bring us clothes. Right. So, and I think that's where my love for thrift shopping comes from,
Yeah.
from being able to make something from what I have,
Yeah.
So, and I hate the expense of brand new clothes. It's just like used cars.
Mhm.
I don't like buying new cars because I feel
Mhm.
like there's still a lot of life in this car. I'm not into
Mhm.
everything that's brand new and shiny.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but anyways, I digress. Um, so that was always something. I mean, when you met me in college, I was like my shoes were like
Yeah.
of utmost importance. That's where,
Yes.
if there was a choice between rent and a pair of new shoes, I would get the shoes.
Yes.
And then I'd work my ass off to like make rent.
Yes. But, you know, we all have
We all
stories,
have
right?
those little wounds.
We do, and they shape us.
Mhm,
So look how that shaped you. The fact that you can still remember it really
mhm,
in full detail, and how it's affected who you are and shaped you into the person good,
mhm,
but also it's fueling some of those insecurities. And what would you say to me? Are you
mhm,
looking at it, right? Are you
mhm.
looking at it as a 7-year-old little girl,
Mm,
or, a 50-year-old, 50 something
I did say
woman?
that, didn't I? Damn it! I hate when you use my shit on me.
That happened. That happened.
Yeah, god damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like stepping back and am I looking at it, um, and hearing that voice of a 7-year-old girl and those kids, or am I looking at it now with a 50-year-old, through a 50-something-year-old's eyes and ears? And it's
Right.
true. So that, and I've learned how to move out of that. One of the things that helped me move out of that and getting out of my head was, um, stop feeling like I'm a fraud.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, and we'll get to that's
Yeah.
probably
We keep
another.
saying we want to talk about that and we don't, but
Mhm.
that's a whole other thing.
I'm gonna write the word fraud.
Write the word fraud. But you know what, too, Crystal? You bring up a really good point that I hadn't really thought through yet. I have a
Mhm.
feeling that people really are afraid to reach out and make friends again because they're still looking at it like when we were in school.
They
Where,
haven't. Yeah,
yeah,
we all have to. The only way you're gonna heal that wound is
right.
to go through it
It's
again, but as a 50-year-old instead of
as
a.
right. And think something through, like, first, because I do the same thing. And this actually did kind of happen to me.
Mhm,
A couple years ago when I joined that one little, and I don't want to like talk about it, but it was a club.
mhm,
And I went and I got all prepared and all that stuff. And I walked in and I was, you know, treated pretty snootily and
mhm,
dismissively. And I was really fortunate because there were other women in the club that caught it
mhm,
and were like, hey, that's not right.
mhm,
And I appreciated that very much. But the tension, I don't need that tension anymore.
mhm,
There was a time I would have walked away from that, went, what did I do wrong? What could I have done to improve? This is a
mhm,
very 80s, 90s thing, right? Every time
mhm,
something happens in business or whatever, well, what did I learn from that? How could I improve? Sometimes I'm just fucking done with that. Sometimes it just wasn't meant to be, right? But
mhm,
anyway, so I left there and I wasn't doing that at all. I'm like, boy, I don't need that shit.
mhm,
I don't need the drama. I don't need the tension. I don't need to surround myself by negativity.
mhm.
I have a choice. And
Well, and we were
so,
just talking about that. Yeah, I have a choice. But we were just talking about that not too long ago where, maybe these aren't your people. I mean,
yes,
you know what I mean?
that's what I was just about to, that's what I was getting to. If you
Okay.
were
It
to
was like,
walk
okay,
in,
yeah, we are good.
yeah, if you walked into a situation
Mhm,
right now where anybody looked at you and said, wow, look at her clothes, look what she's wearing,
mhm.
you wouldn't take it personally in the way that you did as a 7-year
Absolutely,
old.
absolutely.
Right? You would
Mhm,
look at that person like they're the problem, and they
mhm,
are, and these are not my people. I
mhm.
gotta get the hell out of here.
And it's
Um,
interesting because now when I look into that, I used to feel inferior. And now when I walk into something like that, I look at it eyes with, I wonder who else feels a little like a little nervous, and I will be, I'll walk up to someone and I will say, "Wow, you look, I love that. I love what you're wearing," or
I
I'll
do
find
that too.
something that I like or appreciate
I
just to
do
break
too.
the ice. Because I know that I would want someone to do that to me, to help me bring me to ease
Right.
and not be so much in my head.
Right.
Um,
Right. I do that too. And it's not a lie either. It's not a kiss ass or anything like that. It's
No,
not like, no, you're not lying. You're not like,
no.
you
Because
literally
I'm
can't.
looking for something. I'm not
Yes.
saying it, say it. I'm looking for something that I can
Yes.
appreciate. Um,
Yes.
or I can say something like, dude, I really need to go to the restroom. Where is the restroom? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And just,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Know, dude, do you
Yeah.
have a mint?
Hmm.
That, so
Hmm. Right.
something
And
where it's
if you,
relatable.
I'm sorry,
No, that's it.
if you get a negative response from being who you are,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Ew.
not your people.
Yeah. Ew. Ew.
Ew. Exactly. It's
But
not who you're not with them.
that's two different things too. Like you can get a negative response, or you can be the person coming in and and
Yeah.
so
Yes.
is that you or is it that other person? I
Well,
mean that's what you have to look at. I'm not saying.
you do have to look at
Mhm,
that, but the truth is that when you come in with an attitude of um of openness and not of fear, so when you
mhm,
come in with strength and security, when you have self-esteem, right?
uh-huh. Comfortable
And when you're comfortable, thank you. When
in your
when you're
skin.
comfortable
Yes.
in your skin, when you're comfortable in your skin, it's a lot easier to be around people like that and see
Mhm,
for what it is. I mean, there's a
right.
lot of people that have a defense mechanism which is very negative and they come off arrogant and snooty. I don't
And just
catch
round mean. Yeah.
exactly. I catch that now. I don't take that personally. I know exactly
Mhm,
what that is and I'm able to break through, right?
right.
That's that's and
Mhm,
that's what you get though when you're secure with your own self, because
mhm,
otherwise when they're throwing that attitude out, the first thing you do is, you internalize it. Oh, they think they're better than me, blah 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 blah.
mhm.
But when you're secure in your own skin, that's not where you go.
No.
You go to that other person, like what's going on with them, right? And then you make that assessment
Mhm,
but then there's some people you just know that's
mhm,
really, I mean, come on. We're old enough, we're starting to figure it out,
mhm.
right?
Right.
And if you are still a person, if you are a person, that holds grudges and all kind, whatever, or then you are going to be miserable. Things that happened 20 years ago or whatever, they're done. They're over.
We'd like to think they're over. Yes, definitely. We
You
want
would
to give them
hope.
the benefit. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they've worked through it, just like we did.
Yeah. I mean, I said and did some shitty stuff. Wasn't
Mhm.
like that
Oh God.
because yeah, I mean, I may get myself sick if I think about it. It
Mhm,
wasn't like that because that I didn't come from a place of that, right? I came
mhm,
from a family that was really humble, and we didn't believe in um, uh, being arrogant. We didn't believe in expressing ourselves in a way that we were better than
mhm.
others.
Right.
Okay, but I have my own shit. I'm sure I was nasty as hell to people. I'm
Yeah,
sure someone,
I have a lot of like imbecile
yeah,
moments, so I'm like,
yeah, I
please
do too. I
don't
do too.
remember. Please don't remember that about me.
No, they
Remember,
probably do. They
they
do.
do, I'm sure, but
Who cares? Do you think
you
they're
know,
the same people? They're
mhm.
not. They're
Right,
absolutely not the same people.
right.
Yeah.
I'd like to. One of the, I don't know, that's weird. I like to come in to a new situation now and not prove them wrong, but surprise them. Does that make sense?
That's no, I know exactly what that is.
Change that preconceived notion.
I tell my kids that all the time
Mhm,
because they, like me, were made fun of a lot. They were picked
mhm,
on a lot. They were,
mhm,
I was picked on ridiculously.
mhm,
And I used to say that I hate to be this way, but the sweetest revenge is success.
mhm,
And I always tell the kids, oh, who said it? Was it FDR? Somebody said it. I don't know if it was FDR, that said, walk softly and carry a big stick. So I always tell my kids, don't brag about yourself. Don't run your mouth about yourself.
Mm,
You don't need to do that. That makes you no better than them. But
mhm,
when you walk into a room, you step up and actions speak louder than words.
mhm,
So you come in as a successful person and whatever your success means to you, right?
mhm.
That is what the surprise, the shock, or whatever, you know what I mean? The oh yeah, look how I turned out. You underestimated me, didn't you? Silly. You silly. You
That's a
know.
good way to really grow out of your head and grow out of, or just grow period, not grow out of, but grow period, because it's like with family. They see you one way, and that's all they see you
Yeah.
as. So you can be a 50-year-old woman, but they're still going to see you as the one that was a wild party animal, or um, never with the spoiled child. And, you know, it's interesting because I'm the one that has my parents.
Yes.
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 So,
Yeah.
I mean,
It is
yeah,
what it
they
is.
look at you spoiled and irresponsible, but then you're the one that is taking care of your parents.
Yeah.
But you can't you can't change that perception. You can't cross that bridge. They have to do it. They have to come and look at you in with a clean palette, with not blurred or lenses, or with looking at you through, again, a teenager's eyes or a kid's eyes, and look at you as a 50 or whatever age they're in, or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's, that's applying it, and hopefully they learn to follow your example. And that's
And
the only way. That's the only way you're going to step into this new realm of,
mhm.
um, or next level of friendships in our latter years.
So exactly. And the thing is though, those people may never come around, right?
Hmm.
Like your family may never see you in a different light.
Hmm.
I remember my mom even when she was over here when I was broken, when I broke myself
Hmm.
and I was in a wheelchair and I'm trying to get from the couch to the wheelchair to the toilet and she's like wheeling me into the bathroom and I'm on my knees because I found that that's easiest. And I go to the bathroom. I'm all proud of myself. I did it. I get up. I'm flushing the toilet with a toe. I've got, whatever going on here at the sink. And my mom had this moment where she just looked at me and she goes, you're okay. You've really come a long way. And that to me, that was very telling because that was a loaded statement. That statement wasn't about what was happening right then, right?
Hmm.
That statement was about the child that she thinks that she was going to have to come and save, right? Because of
Oh, is that
those.
like full circle or what?
Yes, yes, yes. And I got that. I'm no longer
Wow.
that awkward little kid
Hmm.
that runs into walls because she's so busy thinking about everything,
That she has to do at seven
yes,
years old.
yes. Didn't you see it? Huh?
Oh,
I can't tell
God.
you how many times I was a little kid, the same thing, going into a park with my dad and he's walking and walking and I'm walking and I'm so busy of course he's walking ahead of me and I'm this little kid so busy looking around at everything, boom, straight into the trash can that was bigger than me, by the way, you know. So yeah, they still see me as that little girl that
Uh,
you know was fragile and needed saved. And I'm not, because I was just a little kid. That was my job. But that's another generation thing, by the way, which we could go into, and we got to wrap it up.
I don't know. I think because you do it to your kids, I do it to mine. I don't know. That's just a parent thing.
That's true too. But don't you think too, like my generation looked at kids as if they were adults and sorry.
Everyone's flying over our house today. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but it should be happening here too, because I'm not far from an airport. But you know, my parents' generation, they would talk to you and hold you accountable as an adult when you're just a little kid, right? Like, and then kind of label you, and you're just a kid, you know. And that was, I feel that was something, and that stayed with me for a very long time. You know, that really shaped me. I really believed all this nonsense. And then as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute. Kids, all kids do that. You know, when I had my own kids, all kids do that. That has nothing to do with who they are as a human being. That's their growth. But my generation, my parents' generation labeled little kids, you know, oh, they're a sneaky little thing. They're sneaky. All kids are sneaky. No, they're not going to go right out in front of you and eat the cookie. Of course, they're going to sneak, you know, that kind of a thing. So we have a lot. Okay. There's a lot for us to work through, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's wrap this sucker up.
Okay. So, I mean, we have crossed that bridge where we're able to see opportunities for friendships, and we go for it now. So what advice would you give someone that is just coming out of the coming into the empty nest system, into the empty nest stage, and they have more time to make friends but don't know how? What would you be your
Okay. So, and by the way, empty nesting, but also people who are coming into a situation, whether they had kids or not, they're coming into a situation, right, where they have more time.
You've reached a level in your career that you don't have to sit there and continuously put long hours and prove yourself, or you're changing careers, or you're retiring, or you just feel like you need more out of life.
Right. So for that, I would say that I really think you need to research things online, and you can. If I can do this crap, you can do this. Chris literally was looking up groups for me yesterday at, you know, like women's networking groups. I'm like, I need to reach out. I don't know how. And he had like 50 million women's networking groups right here in Pittsburgh.
I hate that word networking. I can't stand it. I don't know what that is.
I know. I know.
I think for me,
I hear you.
I need to like, whatever that is it just sounds so, I need to get that. But I always feel like it's smoochy.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But again, I'm not suggesting that you do this to make friends, right? I'm doing this so that I can expand my business. But the point that I'm making is, so the point that I'm making is that it was very easy to find these groups online. So it's going to be just as easy to find groups that you're interested in. You know, the National Dog Kennel Association, the yes, you know, baking. My God, there's cooking classes you can go to. And don't think that it's all going to be clicked out when you get there, because it's not. There are going to be opportunities to meet people. You have to be open to it, especially if you're alone. Like, let's say you go to a cooking class, right? And there are couples or whatever, but you show up alone. Then a lot of times
with a sibling or a friend, another friend, that you guys want to expand your friend group, your social circle.
Absolutely. But you have to be open. You're going to put a vibe out there that says that you can talk to me, or you're going to put a vibe out there that says that you can't. Okay.
That I'm closed off.
So yeah, you know, you just are. If you're really closed off, and you know it, that's your defense mechanism. You know who you are, right? So, so you have to be willing to talk about things, even that maybe you're not normally talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that's a physical group. That's something that you do physically.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would start off online because that's
Right.
just the kind of, right. That's the kind of person I am. That's how I would do it. I would look at things online. I have no problem being in a book club if I had time to read the book. You know, I'm more of a cerebral person. And if I had an opportunity right now to reach out, I would be doing more of that. Right.
Right.
Philosophy. Oh my God. I'd be happy to do something like that. But then my daily life is kind of physical. So, you know, that's where I feel like I'm lacking and that that would interest me. That's what I would recommend. I would recommend you start to look this stuff up online. And I don't necessarily, you can ask your existing friends, you can ask people around you. I don't know that that's going to get you where you need to be because you are branching out. And so they, you know, your existing circle may not be into the same things that you're in.
Right. You brought up a good point with starting online. I mean, we have that midlife group, which is a group of, I want to say women in, you know, in the latter part of either raising children or careers, the latter part of, I don't want to say we're old.
Well,
but we are in the latter part of establishing ourselves, whether it be
right.
with motherhood, careers, something professionally. So there's a real diverse group of women of different backgrounds. You can just start joining a group and just observe, you know,
Yes.
whatever the online group is, and then just put yourself. I want to say, I hate that word, or for that phrase, put yourself out there. Don't be shy to make a comment on something that you liked or even like it. If that's, I know that when I had talked to some of the women in our group, they were like, well, I saw what you read there. I see that a lot. I like, oh, you know, that really resonated with me. Oh, you saw that because you didn't like it or comment on it. So I had no idea that it spoke to you.
Yeah.
Just those little maneuvers right there, just being, what's the word I want to say, interactive in just that small commitment, can be a step in getting out of your head.
That is you're right. That's absolutely a small commitment. And it is awkward, right? There's some people where it's really awkward to kind of put themselves out there, you know, for lack of a lack of better term. But you know, the other thing is too, you can be a silent observer. So I know this is going to, I know this is going to, yes. I am. Nobody realizes that about me, but when I go into a new situation, one that I'm not running or, you know, needing to be that person, I'm very quiet. I'll be the person in the back. Usually in class, I'll be the first person to go in the back. I don't want to bring attention to myself because I'm kind of getting the run of the land. And that's how I decide whether or not if I'm going to stick around, quite frankly, because I'm so busy listening and observing that I can get the vibe on whether or not this is my people.
Right.
The other thing is a fear of rejection. Stop it. Again, if they are going to reject you and be small little human nasty beings, they did you a very big favor by showing you their true colors. Get out. And there's no shame or embarrassment. There shouldn't be on your part at all. That's on them. They did you a huge favor by showing you their true colors. You can leave. So, yes, I think that you're absolutely right. If you're worried,
figure out the lay of the land, like, comment, and then, you know, maybe, post.
Maybe.
You know, and don't worry about what people think, or if they like it, they like it. They don't, but they're not going to know who you are or what you're like unless you do something like that.
Yeah. And if you don't, nobody knows who you are. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is you can't find your people if you're quiet all the time. Nobody
Mhm.
knows who your people are. The people don't know who you are.
Mhm.
So if you don't put yourself out there, yeah, you might tick off somebody, or not tick them off. You might turn off somebody. Somebody may look at that comment and go, "Ooh, I don't like her." So what? That's
So
not my
what?
opinion. So what?
Yeah, they can keep scrolling.
They can keep exactly
Uh-huh.
to the left. And then,
To
somebody
not to
will, yeah,
the left, those are dating sites.
yeah, they are. But also Beyonce sings that everything
I
you
know.
own in a box to the left. So, what I'm saying is that for every person that scrolls past you,
Mhm.
there'll be
There might be
somebody.
someone that resonates
That's right. There's going to be
with.
somebody that you resonate with. Absolutely. You know
Mhm.
that. Like you and I may have the same ideals and things, but there's for every two people like us, there's two people that are not like us, and
Mhm.
they're bonded, and that's wonderful. And that's the way it should
Mhm.
be.
They can bond
Yeah.
with not with disagreeing with us.
Yes. Exactly. We've given them something to agree on,
Yeah, we've given them the material.
Yes, they have material, you know.
And
So,
but then there's women in our group that are like, yes, blah, blah, blah. And they stay in the group, even though they might not comment or
mhm,
share or post or like.
mhm.
Um, they are continuing to check that page every day. They're continuing to
Right.
be in it, that decision. So that's what I mean. You got to figure out what your level of commitment is,
Well,
whatever you decide to do.
absolutely, because there's nothing wrong with somebody that checks in and never comments. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. That person is
Hmm.
getting what they need to get out of the group.
Hmm.
I'm just saying that if you're looking to make friends, like if you really wanted to reach
Hmm.
out, then that's different, right?
Hmm.
But that we talked about this before. It's like the kid in the back of the class that you think isn't getting anything, and meanwhile, they're just quiet, but they're retaining everything. They
Hmm.
see
They're
everything.
retaining everything and they're learning. I mean, I know for me, okay, and you'll be surprised to know, I'm a huge introvert. I'm not Heather. Heather's a big extrovert. She can handle like she gets that energy from the room. I have to I have to summon that, and I'm really okay. Let me take that back. I am a introvert that's really good at faking being an extrovert.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
I would say that.
but I need to retreat and
Mhm,
um, store up my energy levels,
mhm,
expel it, and then go back and
mhm,
refuel. I
mhm,
can't just go off
mhm,
the energy of the crowd.
mhm,
I had to bring my own,
mhm.
if that makes sense. So there's
It
times,
makes sense.
yeah, there's times like when I go into a social setting, I have to be mentally prepared. I can't just wing it.
Mhm.
Um, and that's just the way it is for me. And it goes and comes and goes. There's times where I can go 2 months without and be completely fine without being around people,
Yeah,
except
yeah,
for like in a professional setting.
yeah.
So don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking that you have to be this expert and love people and be able to be conversational. It takes me a while to do that. I have to be, like the moon has to be
Right.
a certain way, or it has to be a full moon, or you know what I mean.
Yes,
It's
I know.
not. I'm always looking for optimal conditions and my actual energy levels to
Yeah,
do something like that.
yeah.
But I know the more I do it, the easier it becomes.
It's true. And also it is who you are, and there's nothing,
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that either.
Hmm.
And you've always been that way. You do retreat. And I
Hmm.
can too. People think that, it's true I am an extrovert, but I need my downtime. I
Hmm.
need to withdraw and be alone. And
Hmm.
I can be very I can make my alone time very, very productive in the sense that I can waste a day, people.
Hmm.
Okay. And so I get that too. And I can retreat for a while before I can come back out. You are a little more retreating than I am. You are, you know,
Girl's going into her cave.
Yeah. She'll be back when she's
Has
ready.
anyone heard from Christel? No.
She's in an apartment somewhere that she rented.
She's actually had to run away sometime. But you know what? I disappeared for a while. Like, what we didn't.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I disappeared like, years.
Yes. Yes. I know. That's why I say, and then we find you in an apartment that you had been in for quite some time on the other side of Studebaker with a whole life, you know. So, and that's okay, right? Like that's okay. But again, making friends shouldn't have to affect that either, right? You don't have to change who you are. And you don't have to be out there and in everyone's face because that's not authentic to you anyway. So,
agreed.
Yeah, that's just crazy talk. So you got to be you and someone will love you. Someone out there will love you for who you are because you're special. But that's the truth. It's very cliche, but it's absolutely accurate. You're not going to be a wallflower. You're not going to just fall into the cracks unless you want.
Yeah, you can be a wallflower.
Yeah.
You'll find other wallflowers.
Yes. 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 You'll have so much more to talk about and have in common. Okay. This time I mean it. We're wrapping this sucker up. I have to go pack because it's my daughter's last competition for the year, and I have to pack me, which is going to be a lot worse than packing her because let's face it, I had that taken care of.
You have all these imaginary scenarios of what can happen packing.
Yes. I was just talking to a client of mine. She's like, I have to go pack. Like you could just see that we did like a total relaxation session. And the whole time I'm trying to like get her out of her head about the packing because, and again, that's something that I'm sorry, but is male dominated us. Every time I go to pack something, life was easier when I was just able to throw it all in a suitcase, sit on it and zip it. And maybe
I've never been able to do that. I've never been able to do that.
Really?
And I'm traveling like continents, and never been able to do that. I love that you could do that.
I can't anymore. My husband's ruined me because everything has to be organized and, dual purposed and crap. So that's what takes me so long to, pack. Cause I'm like, what pair of pants do I have that can go with everything? What shirt can I wear that can go with everything?
Well, now you have that because of your. Well, now you have that because of your closet cleansing.
Yes, that is true. It's going to be a lot easier for me. But anyway, I have to go do that. Then I have to make sure she's got all her crap. Then I have to drive there, and I got to go do it. And you have a life. Don't you have a shoot today?
You know what? No, I do not have a shoot today. But this week or this coming week is my 25th wedding anniversary.
Nice.
So my husband and I will have married 25 years. And hell, it's not been easy, but it's kind of, wow, we made 25 years. Who would have thunk? Because I remember when people met, when I introduced my husband to then when we were dating, they're just like, wow, I would have never pictured you with someone like him. And here we are 5 years later.
That's how it works. Congratulations. Yeah. That's how it works. Same with us. We're like night and day, and here we are. I think we're 20, we're going on 24 years. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you're going to do something nice.
You got married before me. I think you and Chris got married before Steve and me.
Huh. No. I remember when you got married. I was like, my life was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. All right. That's it. So you go enjoy your 25th anniversary.
Good luck. Thank you. Good luck. Tell Fee.
I will tell her.
Good luck with Fee and her last competition. I know that she'll do well. And thank goodness you have Sid to help you diffuse.
Yeah, because I'm not allowed to touch her. And
Yeah.
so Sydney woke up with a cold today, and Sophia's concern wasn't that she's ill. It was, are you not coming to, will you not be there? You know, so we're going to bring snotty Sid with us to the hotel. I can't wait.
So you can all get sick.
Yeah, that we're all going to get sick now. And Christoph gets to stay home. He's got the fire in the kitchen going, and he's having poker night with the guys.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I know. So I've got to do something nice for me when I finally get to this hotel. I don't know what, but we'll see.
Do they have a spa or masseuses?
No. And their pool is outdoors, and it's snowing today.
Oh, good Lord. All right.
I was hoping that she could go swimming, but that's not going to happen.
No. Need to, get on the road. Mentally prepare. Deep breaths. Deep
Zen. I know.
You can do this.
I can do this. And my issue isn't today and tomorrow, even though today and tomorrow is going to be like really crazy. My issue is Monday, because Monday's going to be nuts, and I will not have, you know how I am. I mean, you don't need sleep, but girls got to sleep. This one can sleep.
Oh, I need sleep.
I know, but you handle sleep.
I mean, I look at our past episodes and I'm all like, girl, need some sleep. And you're like, I'm talking like 3 speeds slower than you are.
No. That's just you watching this and judging yourself. You're in your head. No, that's not happening at all. I can tell you that, though. I know how you function without sleep. And it is not the way I function without sleep.
You've seen me sleeping standing up. So
I have. So I know how you can pull it together. Not me. I am a nasty woman without sleep. not to take that quote away, but I am the original nasty woman when I don't sleep. All right.
You can do it. All right.
Love you.
Kiss the girl for me. Hug everybody.
Right. I will.
All right.
Give Steve a happy. All right. Congratulations to Steve too. Bye.
All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in.